Okay, so our scientific research is threefold really. So one, we work with sea turtles in our hospital. They're suffering from a tumor disease, so essentially a type of cancer, and we're working with the hospital to have better treatments for those patients, but also to understand what in the environment is causing the tumor growth in the first place. Really, before we started this research program here at the Whitney Lab, very little was known about this tumor disease. It's called fibropapillomatosis, or FP for short. And what we did know from really good work that went on over decades before us is that there's a viral component. There's a virus that's involved in this tumor formation. And just being exposed to the virus doesn't mean that you're going to go on to develop this disease. What is really triggering the disease seems to be environmental triggers. So if the habitat is degraded or polluted, if you really want to understand exposures and how that's working, how the environment can interact with viruses, can interact with the patient themselves for tumors to develop, sea turtles are ideal because they're a long-lived species. They live as long as humans do, even longer in some cases. And this disease is developing over a long time from genuine exposures in the environment. So they can teach us a lot about basic tumor biology, how that works, how that's likely to work in humans. So they can teach us a lot about how tumors form over a long period of time. That's something that's not easy to study in lab animals. But they're also teaching us how that happens for real and in a natural way in the environment. And that can give us a lot of information about what those sorts of exposures can do to humans as well, because we're sharing the same sorts of exposures with these sea turtles. The things that they are exposed to in the environment are generally human induced, essentially. We're also exposed to lots of these things, and to understand what that can do, turtles can really point us in the right direction. The final pillar essentially is environmental DNA, which kind of links a lot of what we do, and we use it both for the tumors that we study because it's a viral component. We use it for sea turtles, but it's also actually, we're able to look at essentially the whole of life with it, so everything from microbes all the way up to mammals. And what that is that as any organism lives and moves through its environment, we're shedding trace amounts of DNA. It can be shed skin cells, excretions, and bodily fluids essentially. We're leaving minute traces of DNA in the waterway, in the air, on beach sand as we walk on it. So essentially the technologies we have now are so advanced that we can recover that trace amount of DNA and answer whole loads of questions with it, from what animals and species are present, so we can study biodiversity, all the way through for individual sea turtles, the mothers that come ashore to lay an egg. Where did those turtles come from? What is their origin?